Welcome back everyone. Your Lord Captain Given 100 has returned yet again for another video for you guys today. And guys, I am so sorry I've been gone for a month straight. I don't know what freaking happened. I'm just dealing with stuff in my life right now, and I don't know, I guess I just lost track of how long I've been on my channel until I saw a comment. Oh man, I didn't even know. Oh my god, you know who you are. I saw the comment and I was like, really? Has it been that long since I posted a video? And I looked and it's been a month straight. I'm like, wait, a month? What the heck is wrong with me? Alright, so to fix that issue, we're back at it here, and we're back with some more Dragon Ball Prime. And this is a redo of a series I made before. Because guys, I wasn't satisfied with what I did before. No, I was not satisfied. I felt like there was some more I could have done, fleshed out the story a bit more, but instead, I just played around with the story and with what I was doing. I wasn't really happy with everything I had gone down and with what I had told. So I thought to myself, you know what? If I'm going to get back into the fray, we need to start with a banger, with a good series. So Dragon Ball Prime is the story that we're going to go with this one. I said with twice on that one. That probably sounds bad punctuation, but I don't really care. This is a YouTube video. No, nothing's perfect. Okay. So guys, this is a redo of the series before. I'm gonna have to make another playlist. Dragon Ball Prime version 2. That's actually a good idea. Guys, after this version 2 is over, comment down below which one on which series would be better. Version 1 or version 2. But I'm gonna tell it from the very beginning. So, let's begin the story. Let's do it. So, you know what? Let's begin, y'all. We start the story from way back. Okay, so the backstory upon Goku's family is going to be a bit more fleshed out than what I usually did. I'm going to actually keep it the same. Okay, so let me explain this story in more detail and how this exactly works. So I know you guys, well, for my Dragon Ball Z fans who watch the Battle of Gods, I'm going to explain the story upon the same as, well, basically Shenron. And there's a bit of a difference that I have to point out, like, you know, within the Dragon Ball Super lore, once again. Hopefully, when I explain it this time, you guys will be able to get it, because I know there were some who honestly didn't get my explanation. So I'm going to try to keep it more simplified and make it less complicated. So let's begin. The story of the first Super... Okay, this is within the Battle of Gods lore. The story of the first Super Saiyan God, Yamoshi. He was a Saiyan born with a righteous heart, which had, you know, 5 pure-hearted Saiyans plus him, which made him the Super Saiyan God. So, okay, there's also a lore behind the Saiyans itself. So, you know what? That ties into the story here. Because when Vegeta and Goku first met Kaba, a Universe 6 Saiyan, in the pre-tournament of power, Kaba, okay, it was within something that Kaba said that had Vegeta surprised. I don't know if this was in the sub, but it definitely was in the dub. Now, you guys don't have to quote me on this, because, like I said, I'm not sure if it was in the sub, and I haven't read that piece of the manga in a while. But, Kaba did state that the Universe 6 Saiyans did used to have tails, but they just evolved to be without them. Also, he said that they lived on a planet called Planet Sadala, and within the English dub version, not the sub, the dub, Vegeta was shocked to hear Planet Sadala, and Goku wanted to know about it. Apparently, Planet Sadala was wiped out before the Saiyans came to pretty much extinct the Tuffles that became their new planet Vegeta, which was, you know, our Vegeta's father, King Vegeta, Vegeta the Third, and the Vegeta that we have right now, that we know in the manga and the story, is Vegeta the Fourth. So there's a whole story behind the Saiyan race, pretty much. So the Saiyans planet, okay, our Universe 6 Saiyans, like our Goku and Vegeta, the planet Vegeta that they were born on was not their original planet. It was a planet that belonged to a different species called the Tuffles. It ties into the GT lore of everything. So, the Saiyans' natural home planet was called Planet Sadala, but it was wiped out due to a civil war, which ties into the Yamoshi lore of the Super Saiyan God. So let me go back to explain that. Like I said, Yamoshi was a pure-hearted Saiyan, along with 5 others, who wanted to face the evil Saiyans, which are pretty much, you know, the Saiyans of Universe 7 that we came to know naturally, like Raditz, Nappa, even non-canon ones like Turles, Paragus. Bardock's pretty much a whole squad. The Saiyans as a whole were pretty much evil Saiyans that we know of. And Yamoshi and his 5 comrades, apparently, you know, back on planet Sadala of the Saiyans of old, were involved in a civil war, which led to, you know, all the 5 Saiyans focusing their power into Yamoshi, granting him to be the first Super Saiyan God. And with that power, he was doing very well, facing off against the evil Saiyans, our Universe 7 evil Saiyans. But it turns out he got tired, and he devolved back into the normal Super Saiyan. Pretty much how Goku fought Beerus in the canon story. He was a Super Saiyan God, but later on, he absorbed it into his base, and pretty much, he just devolved, you know, de-evolution into a regular Super Saiyan, which was still very powerful, but he got overrun by the evil Saiyans because he got tired. Stamina doesn't last forever, sadly enough. So with that being said, Yamoshi had gotten overwhelmed, and the evil Saiyans had won over the good Saiyans. That's why Universe 6 Saiyans have much more S cells and overall potential, because in that because the lore between Universe 6 and Universe 7's is actually pretty crazy. They're twin universes. Lord Beerus and Lord Champa are twin brothers, so it makes sense that they would be twin universes, aka different timelines. Different stories upon how everything followed, because since there was no Goku within Universe 6, because, you know, Universe 6 Saiyans are all good, they're warriors that fight for peace, pretty much the Earth got destroyed of its own accord, of the evil people trying to take over with their said Dragon Balls. All that crap, yada yada yada. So that's why Kaba, Kale, Caulifla, whatever else Universe 6 Saiyans that we know, like in the manga or whatever, like have no tails and are naturally good and have higher potential, because they just naturally do good things. I honestly don't know how they just evolved to be more of, I'm not gonna say warrior, well, you know, yeah, that is the right word. They evolved to be more good people. They evolved to be more good warrior-esque instead of the battle savage, barbaric, hardened, like, you know, barbaric nature of the Universe 7 Saiyans that we have right now. So with that being said, you guys might be wondering, how does this tie into the lore and everything that we have right now? Well, simple. Because as of right now, what I'm doing, Bardock is actually a descendant in my AU. This is my alternate universe right here. This is my fandom. This is not real. This is not canon. In my AU, my personal story, Bardock is a direct descendant of Yamoshi from back then. You have no idea how long ago the Super Saiyan God lore was, probably 500 years or something. Honestly, I have no idea. I truly don't have any idea. I probably should have checked the lore on that story. But whatever. Bardock is a descendant of Yamoshi. Not his, like, direct son or anything, because that happened a long time ago. In my lore, I'm gonna say 500 years ago. But Bardock is, like, a great descendant of Yamoshi. So all of that power still does exist there. Somehow. Okay, I got it now. Oh, let me make sure this is... Alright, cool. So how this ties into it is that Bardock is actually, well, a mutated Saiyan. Whoops. Hold on, I gotta turn my notifications off real quick. Alright, y'all, sorry I'm back. Just had to make sure to turn my notifications off for a second. Alright, so like I said, back to Bardock. Bardock is a mutated Saiyan like Broly, for a sec. His power grows as he fights, and he learns and adapts, like, very well. Not only that, but Bardock in my AU is the legendary Super Saiyan. Like, I know what some of you guys might say, like, actually, in the canon story, Broly is not the legendary Super Saiyan, it's Super Saiyan full power now. Well, in my AU, we're changing it up. It's the legendary Super Saiyan. For those that want to say Broly and his Super Saiyan, and, you know, esque mutated genes, his full power Super Saiyan, fine, we can still give him that. Broly can have his, like, you know, dark green hair, and, you know, his full power Super Saiyan mode. But for this one, I'm keeping the legendary Super Saiyan-esque. There's regular Super Saiyan and Broly's full power Super Saiyan mode, which is, like, unique to him. But with Bardock's family lineage, we're keeping the legendary Super Saiyan-esque. Because look, I'll tell you this to the day I die. I love canon Broly. Well, yeah, DBZ Broly. I meant. You know, not to say I don't like the Broly we have now. I just feel like it's more. The Broly we got is much more of a bum version than what we would have actually liked to see. I expected to see a rage, hate-filled guy that hated Goku to his heart's content. I expected to see a Saiyan that destroyed a galaxy, but instead we got somebody who's relatively is on that level. But we didn't get to see much of that legendary power. I still wanted to keep the name Legendary Super Saiyan, but nope, just Super Saiyan full power. Okay, then. So, I guess screw that whole idea. Alright, so Bardock's family itself is the Legendary Super Saiyan. But then you might be asking, how did Yamoshi lose if he was the Legendary Super Saiyan as I'm putting it out to be? Well, it all comes back to the stamina issue like I had before. And pretty much like in DBZ Broly fashion, Yamoshi pretty much overloaded himself with too much energy. Now, how does that work again? Well, like we saw in DBZ, Broly was getting stronger, much stronger within the movie. And pretty much what that did, Broly had released a huge amount of energy because he was getting unstable with his power. That's pretty much what happened to Yamoshi. So in order to keep himself from overloading, he pretty much let off so much energy all at once. He did kill a lot of the evil Saiyans, but that left him completely drained of power, so he tuckered himself out, which gave the evil Saiyans enough time to kill him. See where I'm coming from? That way the story makes more sense that way. So that's how exactly that works. And that's how it all fits in this one. But I'm still keeping the mutated gene as if it works perfectly fine, though. So Bardock in this one is the legendary Super Saiyan, but he doesn't know. So Bardock was naturally born with a high power level, but since Bardock and King Vegeta are pretty much around the same age, I'm gonna say Bardock was actually kept around. Because for this one, for the sake of the story progressing, when King Vegeta II, you know, okay, yeah, this is gonna sound really, really rough. Our main story Vegeta that we know, his father King Vegeta, so our Vegeta's grandfather, King Vegeta II, when he had his son King Vegeta III, you know, oh my god, our known Vegeta's, you know, father, his power level was 12,000. 12,000. And Bardock, being the legendary Super Saiyan and all, and a direct descendant of the Super Saiyan God, his power, I'm going to keep it the same as our natural, as 1,000 behind King Vegeta, 11,000. So actually higher than Broly's at birth, which was 10,000, or 900 something, I don't really know. But I'm going to keep it 10,000. Broly's power is 10,000, Bardock was 11,000, King Vegeta III was 12,000. So there you go. So Bardock was actually an elite Saiyan warrior, being in a pod like actually next to King Vegeta's. So Bardock was actually a high-ranking general like Paragus in our canon DBZ story. Well, not canon, god dang. In our Dragon Ball Z Broly story. Woof. Jesus, this lore is really hard to get straight and not mess up, but I'm trying my hardest here. I really am trying my hardest. I know it may not make sense to you guys, but I really am trying to keep the story straight and narrow for you all. But anyway, this is how it goes. So Bardock was, like I said before, among the high elites within Saiyans. He had actually gone on a few crazy and amazing missions, and people really saw Bardock flourish, and well, his power was shown it throughout many times. And this was later in life, before they even got enslaved to Frieza. So let me go through Bardock's power level. In canon, Bardock's power level was like 10,000 or 5,000. Like, it switched, because in the Dragon Ball Z Kai version, they made it like 10,500 or 12,500. But in like the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, they made it around 5,000. So it switched up. But I don't really care. But this was before Frieza and all that. But keep in mind, this is before they met. Bardock's power was really high before they met Frieza, and this was as a child. As Bardock got older, his power grew higher and higher and higher. And the Saiyans started to pretty much, and Bardock was sent on like the most elite missions. Even his squad, well, Bardock doesn't have legendary Super Saiyan. I just wanted to get the explanation, so let's go back to it. Even Bardock's squad. Yes, for the sake of the story, we're keeping Bardock's squad the same, including Guinea, who's also in the squad. They actually saw a lot of Bardock's power and saw how relatively strong he was. Because, well, okay, it's a common thing that Saiyans don't train. They never trained a day in their life because it's explicitly stated with Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa. Vegeta's power was like 18,000. Yeah, he matched with Kui. Nappa was like, I think around 6 or 7,000, and Raditz was 1,500 or 1,200. 1,500. Yeah, 1,500. So with that being said, Saiyans have never trained a day in their life. But with Bardock and his mutated genes, the craziest thing is he grows so quickly and so fast. It's not even funny how much he grows. Bardock's squad has seen it all the time. Whenever they go on dangerous missions and whatnot, they've seen Bardock like fight off armies of like high power level like enemies, like for the Saiyan race. And this was before Frieza, I mind you. Now after when okay, and let me give you an estimate where Bardock's power level is at that point. And okay, Bardock's power level is actually at, screw it, I'm giving Bardock leeway. 130,000. Yeah, 130,000. So with that being said, Bardock's power level is very high. 130,000, yeah, that's a lot. So Bardock could actually wipe out a lot of Frieza's squad. But when Frieza and King Cold themselves arrived on the planet, there really was nothing much that they could do. And that's not to say that Bardock, well, once the King surrendered, all the Saiyans had to surrender. It was pretty much game over for them anyway. Because, you know, Frieza power level 530,000, King Cold, like, I think like less than 1 million or something. Because he is weaker than Frieza, so I'm going to say, and we don't really know if King Cold can transform. I know in the manga, fan mangas he can, but I don't know if that's actually a thing. But oh well, who cares? I'm gonna just make it to where, should I make him transform? Nah, screw it. I'm gonna say that is his full powered form all the time. So I don't really know. I truly don't know. Maybe I could make him transform. You know what? Yeah, King Cold has a transformation. He's always in his second form. So Frieza's second form is 1 million. King Cold's form, because he's canonically weaker than Frieza, 900,000. So there you guys go. That just 100,000 weaker than Frieza. I know it's probably not much considering what power levels we get, but who cares? So like I said, even though Bardock probably wanted to fight, he still couldn't do much against Frieza or King Cold. Now their armies are a different situation. Yeah, he could, but there's not much he could do in terms of that. Okay, but that's enough of the backstory for that. Well, no, not enough backstory. What am I talking about? That's enough of Bardock's backstory. The Saiyans were still enslaved under Frieza. That much didn't change. I'm keeping all that canon. But like I said, since we're doing Dragon Ball Prime version 2, there's going to be a lot of things that's going to get messed around with in this timeline. This is the Prime timeline after all. So it's time to switch some things around. Okay, as for Bardock. Yeah, oh god, guys, don't hate me for this, alright? Please don't. Because I'm going to change a lot of things around. Hold on, I made a script for this, so give me a sec to check it real quick. Alright guys, for the sake of the story... Okay, if you guys thought Bardock was him before, in my story, Bardock is the ultimate him. After his kids. Kids, plural, but just watch what I'm going to do to this story here. So a lot of this stuff would actually go the same, but instead, since I don't really know how Saiyans treat their partners, wives, mates, it's weird, because you don't even know. We know that Bardock and Gine were actually a strange pair because they actually did care about each other and love each other. But I'm changing the story up a little bit. It's because, look what I'm doing here. Bardock has two women. 2 women. Why not? Why? Because Bardock is him. That's why. Bardock is the him of Saiyans. Oh boy. Oh boy. You guys just. Oh Jesus Christ. All right. Fasha and Gine, literally fighting over Bardock, And that's how it happens. Things just look, Bardock in the background. Just damn, this is what my life has come to. Yes, it has. All right. So for the sake of this one, Bardock has 2 women. And you guys already know how Saiyan children grow up and everything. Yeah, Bardock let me tell you guys now, Bardock has more I'm gonna tell you this, Bardock has more than just 1 child. Definitely more than 1. Oh dang, I've already been recording for 20 minutes. Shit, time flies by quick. Alright, but since I want to give you guys a good story, we're gonna keep it going. So how's it goes is pretty simple. Bardock is with both Gine and Fasha at the same time. Like I said, we don't know how Saiyans treat their mates, partners, wives. We don't even know if marriage is even a thing in their universe. You're with who you're with, I guess. So they both like Bardock, and since they couldn't decide, and since obviously they're good friends and they on Bardock's squad and they don't want to fight each other, they both decide to just have them at the same time, which is you know what? Which I'm gonna say in Saiyan culture, it's not unheard of. It's been a thing, so who cares? But anyway, like I said, Bardock is a strong Saiyan, so they can both accept these terms. Bardock is kind of weirded out by this, but hey, 2 women. He quickly likes this idea. So, over a while, oh god, you guys are gonna hate me for what I'm about to pull here. So over the next while, Bardock actually does have kids with Gine and Fasha, and they're not who you think they are. Well, actually they are. And yes, Fasha's pregnant as well. So with Gine, she has her classic Raditz, but there's also another kid that she has. You know what? For the sake of the story, I'm just gonna say it. Gine has 2 boys. Fasha has 2 girls. What? And just for the sake of the story, we're gonna make them both this, like all 4 of them the same age. So for Gine, she has Raditz, but she has another Saiyan who I honestly think should have been canon, but for some reason isn't canon, but I like him a lot as a character, so we're keeping him in anyway. Boop! Turles. We are keeping Turles as a character. So yes, Gine births 2 boys called Raditz and Turles. I actually really like Turles, and I feel like he should be a canon character. But oh well, he isn't. But who for some reason it's made me mad enough that he isn't. So with that being said, who cares? We're putting him in my goddamn story. So Turles and Raditz, they both come from Gine. Now who does Fasha have? Fasha has children that are non-canon that I got from other what ifs. So don't worry, I'll give credit where credit is due. So here we go, let's do this. And here's one of Bardock's girls that you can see. Obviously one is like Goku, but we're not focusing on him right now. Raditz and Turles, and Fasha has 2 girls. This one, the girl that you can obviously see by Goku is... Oh, also, obviously not mine. This is from Salad Saiyan. Go subscribe to his channel. This, this is not my art. Obviously not. This is not my creation. Not mine. So I'm just using her for the sake of the story because I think she's a cool character. So this girl right here's name is Ruta. One of Fasha's 2 girls. So Bardock in this one has 4 kids. And you guys might be asking, what about Goku if he's not in the story? Don't worry, I'm going to get to him, I promise. Just hold on. We have one of Bardock's 4 children that we got right now. One is Ruta, and here's the second one of Fasha's girls. And right here we have Joka. And you guys might be asking, where's Joka from? Joka is from Masako X. She is from his story. Go subscribe to Masako X. Not my art, not my character, not my OC, original character. None of it is mine. I'm just using the character because I think it's cool. So, Goku has many siblings in this one. But then, I know what you guys might ask me. Where is Goku if he's not in the story? Calm down, guys. I'm going to get to him. I'm going to get to him right now, in fact. But hold on. A little bit more about Bardock's kids beforehand. Just give me a second. So, yeah, with that being said, Turles. 2 boys and 2 girls. 4 kids altogether. Oh boy, this is crazy. So you guys might be wondering, are they born with, some latent potential? Yes, they are. Because, hey, Bardock being Super Saiyan God, legendary Super Saiyan, they all got that legendary mutated gene within them. So, for the sake of this story, this is how it's going to flow for a while now. And Bardock's like 4 kids grow up until he goes on said mission. Now here you go. Now here we go for this one, guys. This is where a lot of the things are going to change. So let's change it up. This is where Bardock is sent to planet Serial to extinct the Cerealians. Planet Serial to extinct the Cerealians. Wow, that sounded so crazy. Oh yeah, if you're all wondering, the power levels with Bardock's kids are actually different. Just because I really love Turles, I'm gonna say his power level is actually the exact same as Bardock's, just 100 higher, like 11,100. Raditz, I'm gonna keep it the same as Bardock, 11,000. Joka and Ruta, I'm gonna say regular, Canon Broly's power, so 10,000. Both 10,000. You know what? Nah, 10,500. Yeah, 10,500. That's a good number. So with that being said, all have good potential, and they're all like high elite ranking Saiyans. And because Vegeta was like King Vegeta was 12,000. Oh, this would be the time where Prince Vegeta is born, I guess. Huh? Yeah, that would. Oh, damn, that would be a crazy thing. But the thing is, with Bardock being a high ranking Saiyan and one of his like elites at this point, Bardock is like the first in command of King Vegeta's army. So there's no way. And with Bardock's power level being so high, whoops, my apologies for that. And with Bardock's power level being so high, the king is actively scared to do anything to Bardock's kids because he knows that Bardock would not let that shit fly, because he acts like a different Saiyan from, like, the normal Saiyans that they are. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bardock is still a battle-hardened, ruthless, brutal warrior, but he does care about his kids, and obviously Gine and Fasha caring about them as well. They're not going to let that shit slide if King Vegeta tries to exile them or anything. So, Bardock gets to keep all of his kids. And, King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta are just being salty. Wah, what was me? Who gives a fuck? Get over it. Anyway, moving on. So, Bardock's mission to extinct the Cerealians, he'll be back. This time it goes actually very different, so let me explain how. So, okay, Bardock's mission to extinct, the Saiyans' mission to extinct the Cerealians would canonically go the same. The Saiyans would come and try to extinct them and whatnot, and Bardock would end up meeting Granola's mother, Moisley. And Bardock seeing Moisley in this situation here would actually go very, very, very different than how it's supposed to be. Moisley still tries to fight off Bardock. I mean, but when she's shooting off the shot, it doesn't even bother him, because Moisley's like weaker compared to much weaker compared to Bardock, who at this point, after a few years, had a power level of actually okay, if Bardock were to go full power off the bat, he would actually be half of Frieza's full power. Well, wait, no, not full power. Half of Frieza's first form, his suppressed state. Frieza's 530,000. So 215,000. Yeah. Why not? 215. 215,000 at full power Bardock. So since he's fighting and Moisley tries to shoot a shot at him, it doesn't even scratch him, like, at all. It does absolutely nothing to Bardock. And, like, at this point, Bardock is about to kill Moisley, but he does have his, canonical change of heart and whatnot, and all of this still does end up doing the same thing. But, instead, a situation's gonna play out extremely different. Hold on. Dang, I keep forgetting that Namekian's name that Bardock had met. So, instead, Bardock has a change of heart, and he decides he's going to spare Moisley and Granola. So he takes her back to that Namekian that took care of Granola all this time. I forgot what that Namekian's name is. Give me a sec to look it up, y'all, for a second. Okay, I'm back. Turns out his name is Monaito. Yeah, M-O-N-A-I-T-O. Monaito. So with that being said, Bardock ends up taking them, Granola and Moisley back, to Monaito. And just when Bardock's about to let them go, one of the, gases people, I straight up forgot what that guy's name is. He ends up like shooting at Moisley, about to kill her, but Bardock is actually, because he's stronger, I'm gonna say his senses are actually a lot more honed, and he actually saw the shot coming, and he was fast enough. So before Moisley could be shot and killed, Bardock had actually stepped in the way and deflected the blast. So now it's Bardock versus Gas like before. But Bardock, instead of like, winning with extreme difficulty, Bardock ends up like whooping the absolute crap out of Gas. Like he uses his full power and he doesn't hold back, but he lets Gas live as like a decency of mercy and everything. And Monito, seeing Bardock's bravery, actually summons wants to give Bardock a gift. And Bardock would ask what kind of gift. And this is when Monito would actually signal to his scouter, and he would and Bardock would get the message and turn it off. And this is when Monito would tell him about the Dragon Ball, about his pair of Dragon Balls. Pause on that one. Pause on that sentence right there. Monito would tell Bardock about the Dragon Balls and what they can do. And Bardock would ask, do all Namekians have this ability? And Monito would say only... And Monito would go on to explain the difference between the Dragon Clan Namekians and the Warrior Clan Namekians, explaining that only the Dragon Clan Namekians can make their own set of Dragon Balls. And he explains what the Dragon Balls are, what they do in detail. And Monito, because this is a different AU in my AU, I'm gonna say that oh dang, I forgot what his dragon's name is. I honestly forgot what the dragon's name is for this one. I'm sorry, guys. I honestly did forget. But okay, I'm gonna say for the sake of this AU, Monito's dragon is able to grant three wishes actually. And Bardock would say, 3 wishes. You say yes, 3 wishes. And well, Monito would ask him for like his 3 wishes. He would summon the dragon, and well, Bardock would actually see this. So Bardock actually knows about the Dragon Balls here. So give me a second to find something real quick. All right. So anyway, with this here, Bardock gets his 3 wishes. Okay, so 3 wishes. How is this actually going to work here? Like, oh, I got it. I actually got it. Like, I had plans before, but since I said 3 wishes instead of just 1, things were gonna end up different. So Bardock's wish is actually pretty simple. Bardock's wishes that all of okay, instead of just his children, Bardock wishes that his entire family lineage from him down the road would end up thriving. So, and he explains, so the dragon grants his first wish, meaning that all of Bardock's children and his family lineage would thrive no matter what. And this actually does come into relevance, but because we learn in Dragon Ball Super manga in the Moro arc, well, that's spoilers, so I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to say anything. But anyway, what is Bardock's second wish, actually? Now, Bardock wants his children to be safe, and he doesn't know if that dragon actually can grant wishes. But hey, he's making sure at least it's great. So Bardock would actually think upon this really deeply. His second wish, Bardock would wish that his family lineage after him would like from his kids onward would grow up would have the most the highest potential in the known universe, the highest potential ever. The potential is so deep rooted with it that it even goes far past their genes. Well, it's combined with their inherent mutated genes. So the dragon grants the second wish, and all of a sudden Bardock's kids, even Bardock himself, actually feels, well, weird, just a tad bit weird. Bardock got this benefit as well because he said family lineage, so Bardock is that family. But also Bardock's kids, they got the greatest potential in the universe, and we already know who's the greatest potential in the universe is. Like, I've gone into debate about it, and screw it, I'm not even gonna hide it anymore. It's Frieza's potential. All of Bardock's kids are going to end up with Frieza's potential, and that lineage onward, because his family's going to end up thriving. And what would be his third wish? What would his third wish be? Bardock already wishes that his family lineage would thrive, and he wishes for, like, you know, for them to have the greatest potential ever. So that means they're gonna grow up to be strong. And what else would be easy? Ooh, Bardock comes up with this on the last minute. Now this here is going to be absolutely busted. You can call it, like I said, Dragon Ball Prime for a reason. He wishes that every part of his family lineage would be incredibly easy to train. The most naturally gifted people in like Saiyans in all of history to ever live. And Bardock would actually tell Manito to word this differently. Instead of interfering with their, you know, their latent potential or growth, or with their latent potential, because Frieza has a lot of deep latent potential, this would instead affect their growth potential. Like, they would be able to grow a lot faster. Because we've seen what Frieza can do within 4 months. He achieves his golden form. Now, guys, topple upon Broly's mutated Saiyan genes. So not only does Bardock and his kids learn as they fight, toppled up, like, upon that Frieza's hidden latent potential, that within a short amount of time of training they can grow extremely fast. But now Bardock has wished upon their growth potential, not latent potential hidden deep within, their growth potential, their overall growth, to be incredibly easy. Like, with very little training, they can reach that well of potential and that well of mutated genes that they have deep within them, with very little training, with the most basic of training at all. Incredibly easy to train, and incredibly easy growth potential. And the dragon grants this wish as well. The wish has been granted. So with that being said, actually, you can pretty much tell what I'm doing here. Bardock's family lineage is pretty much the most busted in history off bat. So that just makes it absolutely insane. Alright, so with that being said, Bardock is about to leave Planet Cereal and leave Moisley and Granola alone. But actually, things go different here. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is what I mean. Dang, nope, couldn't find what I was looking for. Oh well, I can just say it based on this. When Bardock is actually about to leave, because I'm gonna say he took he didn't take a Saiyan space pod. He took one of, like, Frieza's ships, because, like I said, he's a high-ranking commander. He commands the army of the king's army. So I feel like he would have, like, lots of resources to use at his leisure if he wanted to. So instead of taking a Saiyan pod, he took, like, one of Frieza's ships. Because even though he didn't suffer, like, that much battle damage, he still did take some damage. Oh yeah, along with that, you know, easy growth potential, like Frieza's potential, mutated genes and all that, and with incredibly fast growth potential, this gives them all super Zenkais and everything. Pretty much granting them, like, the grade 8 level of booster whenever they heal. So Bardock, like, and his family now gets a 10 times booster of a Zenkai boost. So shit like that, man, crazy. Yeah, I've literally just made them too broken, but I don't really care. Dragon Ball Prime, my timeline. Okay, so that's how that pretty much goes. Oh wait, nope, not yet. Okay, so now when Bardock is actually about to leave, Moisley, Granola's mom, actually comes up and stop him, and Bardock would ask, what does she want? And Moisley would take a turn and say, "Take me with you." Huh? Because that's how I know some of you probably just went. Just, huh? And Moisley would go on to explain that she wants to come with Bardock she wants to go with Bardock on this journey. Bardock said he was sent here specifically to exterminate they were sent here to exterminate their species. Why would she want to come back to that planet that tried to kill her? And to be honest with you, Moisley said there's really nothing for her here. And because she knows that Bardock is the strongest Saiyan. Where'd you hear that? And it's not like Bardock's reputation would not get out to space, because Bardock's been hired from not only King Vegeta, but as, like, an actual bounty hunter of sorts, like going on dangerous missions, getting stronger and stronger. Crazy enough, wait, no, actually Bardock could go Super Saiyan Okay, it's not like he knows how to. I'm saying it right now. He does not know how to go Super Saiyan. But if something pushes him over the edge, he actually could go Super Saiyan relatively easily. Like I said, those wishes, man, those wishes, they do a lot of work. And Bardock looks at Moisley for a second and says, "Fine, get on board then." And I know what some of you guys might say. If Moisley's going with Bardock back to the planet Vegeta, wouldn't the Saiyans just kill her outright? Well, the yes and no. Yes, because obviously they were sent on a mission to exterminate their race. But no, because Bardock. Bardock is him. And whatever Bardock say pretty much goes. And pretty much they think of Bardock wanting to keep her as a pet or a mate. Pretty much Omni-Man style. So they don't really say anything. Not even the king can... the king could say something, but Bardock could easily whoop his ass in a fight. So nothing to be said here. Because Bardock is his best soldier, and the last thing he wants Bardock to do is rebel. So he goes with this, with keeping Moisley. So Bardock literally has 3 fucking women. Has 3 goddamn women. Oh, boy. So now... And the only sad part about it is that Granola doesn't get any of that high potential. It's so sad he doesn't get any of that. Because the wish was already made, and he's not one of Bardock's kids. Even though he's in his family... He's not, you know, direct descendants or anything. So, sadly, he doesn't get any of that crazy potential. So, it happens. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, but no. You know what? I'll be gracious. I'll give him the good growth potential. How about that? There you go. So, Granola's incredibly easy to train. How about that? But none of that Frieza's growth potential, obviously, or the Broly, you know, mutant type C type of legendary Super Saiyan form that we've got, obviously. None of that because Granola's not a Saiyan, but he gets easy growth potential. There you guys go. Oh boy. Whew. I'm kind of losing my voice here for a second. And because I know you guys are going to say something about it, what am I thinking? Ooh, I got it. Goku is actually, okay, now we get into the canon story of Dragon Ball. How it all began. Bardock's squad, you know, Gine and Moisley was actually at home. Oh, and Moisley, Granola's mom is actually born with Kakarot in this one. So Goku's mom is not Gine in this one; it's Moisley, Granola's mom. So Kakarot Goku, aka Goku, has like 5 older siblings, and he's the 6th. Like I said, Bardock is him. He is that guy. So Moisley is born with Kakarot slash Goku. So Goku in this one is actually half Saiyan, half Cerealian, which is honestly an amazing fucking combo if you really think about it. So with that being said, this is only going to grow up to be an absolutely insane type of Goku. So hope you guys are ready for this type of story. So, okay, the story of Bardock, now we get into the more canon lore-like story of a few more, like, months passing. Bardock is actually up to a power level of, give me a sec to think, screw it, 300, screw it, a few months go by, Bardock easy growth potential. I'm gonna say he's actually, matches Frieza's, you know what, he can actually match Frieza's 3rd form, 3 million. Because Bardock's been going on a lot more deadlier missions for the Saiyans and Frieza's army, and he's been doing them solo as well, because Saiyans can't really risk going on high potential, you know, high power leveled planets. And since Bardock does sometimes use his Great Ape form, his Uzaru form, that gives him a 10 times booster. This gave him a very high power level, high stats, because Bardock already has control of the Great Ape. And since he uses it a lot, he comes back and gets healed. He gets a lot of Super Zenkais really quickly. So he grew within like 9-ish months. He grew up to Frieza's 3rd form like very quickly. So very quickly, Bardock could actually overthrow Frieza. Well, if he went Super Saiyan, that is, or if he went regular Super Saiyan, because you know Z Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, and Canon Broly, Dragon Ball Super Broly, does have regular Super Saiyan. They just have a mutated forms. It's just, in this one, it's 2, like, split branches. Broly, being the mutated Saiyan he is, has full-powered Super Saiyan, while Bardock has the legendary Super Saiyan, the lime green-haired form. So, there you go. That's the difference. If you guys don't know what that is, I just pointed out the difference for you. Broly has dark green, Bardock has lime green. There you guys go. Light green. Okay, moving on. God dang. Okay, so let's continue. So Bardock has a power level of 3 million. If he went Super Saiyan, he could beat Frieza. But it's only enough to match his third form. But you guys already know, Bardock only grows with rage. So he could potentially reach Frieza's final form, but it would take a while. Well, actually, 5 minutes. High growth potential. Okay, so now we get into the canon story of Bardock and his future sight. Yes, I'm going with Dragon Ball Z Kai lore with this one, so to keep it the same. Bardock's entire squad is on the same planet of future sightseers that they had before. And with Bardock being there was really nothing much to do. So I'm gonna say, okay. And this one, because I want to go with the because I want to go with the manga-esque, with a different manga-esque thing, Bardock, okay, instead of, getting sneak attacked, like in the canon that we got of Dragon Ball Z Bardock, I'm going to go with a different manga. Quote if you guys know where this manga actually is from, where this part of a manga is actually from. It's fan-made, by the way. It's not mine, once again. So when Bardock is about to kill that future sightseer, he instead says, instead of blasting me, go through, plunge your fist into my heart, like as you wish. And Bardock, kills him that way. And then the future sightseer does still get Bardock in the back of the neck, imbuing him with future sight. And so Bardock still gets sneak attack, but he doesn't actually get knocked out. Instead, he just says that was weird, and he's kind of disgusted because he got blood on his arm and everything. But it's nothing he's not used to. It's nothing he isn't used to. Oh yeah, if you guys want to know what power level Goku was born with, since Bardock already had a very high power level, Goku power level was actually it took 9 months. Goku's power level was actually 130,000. 130. So yeah, Goku has the highest potential out of everybody. Woof! Crazy. Alright, moving on. So Bardock comes back to Planet Vegeta, and he didn't even suffer that much damage, because the thing is, I'm buying Bardock a lot more time instead of time being wasted. So Bardock, on his way back to Planet Vegeta, still has that future sight thing happen to him, but it doesn't cause him any pain. It's just like Bardock gets lost in thought for a minute. It does come to him like a snap in a flash, and he does see what's about to happen, but it doesn't cause him any pain. It's just like Bardock goes out of it, like he's lost in thought for a few minutes. And Bardock sees that Planet Vegeta is about to get destroyed. So, okay, because they took one of Frieza's ships instead of the Saiyan pods, I'm gonna say they got back to Planet Vegeta a lot quicker than usual. Instead of, being in Saiyan pods, Bardock being put in the healing chamber, and Bardock having his time wasted. So, and now I'm gonna go with and now we're switching into more Dragon Ball Super type lore, like the movie, the Broly movie. Bardock makes it back to he makes it back to Planet Vegeta, and crazy enough, like all of his Gine, Fasha, and Moisley, since she is not allowed to leave the planet, she's still there. But Gine and Fasha are actually there. And oh boy, this is gonna go actually kind of crazy. You know what? Now, for the sake of the story, all of their kids are actually there as well. Because, like I said, Bardock got back there earlier. I'm gonna say he actually got back there 1 hour ahead of time than he was supposed to. So Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, Turles, Joka, and oh dang, I forgot one of Raditz. Raditz, Turles, Joka. I forgot Goku's other sister. Give me 1 sec to remember. Ruta, that was her name. Ruta. Okay, there we go. So, this was before Raditz went on the mission with Vegeta and Nappa. So, Raditz, Turles, Ruta, Joka, and Granola are actually all there. all of his kids are there. So, like I said, he got there an hour before anything was supposed to go down. So he got there extremely early, and he already saw the vision of what was supposed to happen. So, Raditz is actually at his house about to say goodbye because he's going on a mission. This is the mission between Vegeta and Nappa and the other like 3 Saiyans that were with them. Yeah, other 3 Saiyans that were with them. So this was beforehand, and Bardock actually, had come to his vision. Goku had actually just been born, and he's in his incubation chamber, and thankfully he's just about to get out too. So this is all extremely early. Bardock told everyone to pack up to pack up because some bad things are going to happen. Okay, and Guinea, Fasha, and Weasley ask what's going on. And Bardock tells them of the vision he had. Frieza is going to destroy planet Vegeta, and they need going to destroy planet Vegeta. Guinea is actually worried. Fasha is the one who laughs, but Weasley isn't laughing at all because she's heard of Frieza. And Guinea and Weasley are actually the ones worried. Like, okay, Raditz, Turles, Joka, and Ruta are actually, and Granola, because Kakarot's still in his incubation chamber and still in that liquid, they're actually like kind of worried as well because they believe their father, and if bad things are about to happen, they should pretty much get off this planet, Bardock wants to think that he's wrong, but since he has so many kids and his family lineage is on the line, and after making that wish to the dragon to keep his family alive, I'm gonna say that the wish to make sure his family lineage thrives throughout time, I'm gonna say the wish like sways Bardock's decision more to getting off planet. So instead of wasting time thinking that he's wrong, Bardock tells Vegeta and Nappa and the other 3 Saiyans to just go without Raditz. Raditz is gonna stay here because something else came up. And because Bardock is literally high-ranking general, they don't argue with him. Vegeta argues a little bit, but Bardock looks at him with a stern look, and Vegeta just goes on and says whatever, and he just goes on anyway. So Vegeta, Nappa, and the other 3 Saiyans that they were with in the Super Broly movie, they already head off. They're gone. They end up thriving anyway. Vegeta just got lucky. Instead, what Bardock does, he pretty much gathers a bunch of supplies and pretty much takes a Frieza ship that's big enough for all of them, that has, beds and everything else, a healing chamber in it, and he's pretty much getting ready to send all of his, mates and his children off to a planet with pretty much a low power level. And Bardock searches, the scanners upon the ship that he has, and it's a pretty large ship. Well, it's a pretty large one because it has to accommodate for all the supplies and the healing chambers and the bedrooms that they have. So like I said, it's a pretty large ship. But since Bardock is ahead of time, like in a literal hour earlier, and he pretty much wasted probably 10 minutes explaining, they have a lot of time to get off planet before Frieza even shows up. So Bardock gathers a lot food, supplies, because the trip, because he's a high-ranking, he's pretty much of his status, Bardock has access to one of the faster ships. So it would only take about 3 days to get there. But in case anything goes wrong and they do need to make pit stops, Bardock stacks up the spaceship in order to be gone for a month, just to be safe, just in case Bardock is being paranoid here. The ship is really big. It even has one of the regular Saiyan escape pods on there for emergencies. It has about 8 of them in total. Like I said, pretty big ship with a month's worth of supplies. So Bardock pretty much gets all of his kids and his mates onto the ship, and he's getting ready to send them off planet on autopilot. But they all worry about Bardock, what if he doesn't get off planet in time? And Bardock, Bardock, because of thinking he might be paranoid, he tells them that he'll meet them at on the planet as well. But because I know what you guys might be thinking. Isn't Bardock like strong enough to like fight off Frieza's third form because of the 3 million? Yes, he is. Like, yes, he definitely is. But don't worry. Okay, guys, I was split between making Bardock go with them or basically staying behind to make sure he's not paranoid. Bardock says he'll contact them on the scouters and like the scanners in case they are wrong. So basically they all get sent off to Earth, and Bardock wants to go warn the king to tell him that bad things are going to happen. So this is pretty much what Bardock does. He goes to waste the time now to let King Vegeta know bad things like are going to happen, that Frieza plans to destroy them all, and how he's like, of course no one would believe him. King Vegeta obviously doesn't believe him, and Bardock like is still wasting time trying to let him know that things are happening. But instead, okay, bad things are still gonna happen, and this is how it does happen. So okay, just give me a second, because I need to make I'm going to make this make sense. This has to make sense in the state. So here we go. All right, I got it. So King Vegeta like does actually end up listening to Bardock in this state, but still bad things are gonna happen. They go out and they see Frieza's ship approaching them, like so, and then they heard the order to all Saiyans report back to Planet Vegeta ASAP. Well, Vegeta and like his crew were sleeping at the time, so they obviously weren't here for that, so they had already left off on that mission. They were gone. So they look and say, okay, so he shows up unannounced. That doesn't mean he's here to kill us. That's because we're going to attack first. And all of them, by the way, all of them go up into space and try to fight Frieza and his army off. Because this is exactly what happens. Bardock, instead of being alone in canon, actually the Saiyans are actually helping Bardock. Because, you know, high rank status, it gets you more leeway and a say of things. But as of right now, they all go up into space and fight and try to fight Frieza. And Frieza, seeing that the Saiyans are actually strong, Bardock being on the front lines, he tries to do that supernova thing like he does in the canon story. And to his credit, it would destroy Planet Vegeta. But Bardock, being so powerful as he is now, he shoots off his final spirit cannon, and he actually is powerful enough to actually stop the supernova. And Frieza, being as powerful as he is, actually saw this happen. And because he doesn't want to take any more chances, Frieza transforms into his final form. You know, and he doesn't hold back this time. He uses he uses 100% of his power right now. So with this being said, Frieza shoots like a very giant big death ball at the planet. And because Bardock tries to fire off this time, and so do the other Saiyans, this does give them a little bit of a push. And Bardock, reaching very deep into his genes, reaches for that full potential and actually does it. And this one, okay, hold on a sec, guys. Give me a sec. He is the first Super Saiyan God in 500 years. Bardock unlocks the Super Saiyan God, and he's actually able to completely blast Frieza with a final spirit cannon and blast right through the giant death ball and blast Frieza too. But because like the power just got awakened, because Bardock blasted through it, the giant death ball that Frieza made actually exploded, blowing most of the Saiyans back. So yes, Bardock had gotten blown all the way back to downward toward Planet Vegeta, for the sake of the plot. Okay, just roll with it. And because he got blown all the way back, Frieza was very pissed off, and he created another giant death ball. Now keep in mind, Bardock was feeling rage like never before. This is Bardock actually about to unlock his legendary Super Saiyan form. But because those two literally are contradictory, because the calming focus of a Super Saiyan God, the calming tranquility of a god, but the wrathful rage, unfiltered rage of a Saiyan, they cancel each other out. So Bardock goes back to his base form unknowingly because he was using legendary Super Saiyan, but combined with the power. And since Bardock doesn't know how to combine powers like into Super Saiyan Blue or whatnot, he never went through, like, you know, godly training like Whis had done to Goku and Vegeta. So the powers cancel each other out. Bardock is back in base form at his power of 3 million. So it's too late at this point. So with that being said, Bardock had to get off a planet very quickly because he couldn't do anything. All of the Saiyans have pretty much went Great Ape because they used their power balls, and pause on that one, and they tried to stop the giant death ball. Bardock knew that there was nothing he could do at this point because they were all going to be killed. So he got into a Saiyan pod. He found one and pretty much shot off into space. And Frieza was too busy distracted by the other Saiyans that were coming around to fight him. So pretty much no one, and I mean no one, had noticed Bardock just straight up dip and leave. They had honestly thought Bardock had died when he got blown back onto planet Vegeta because he had to re-enter the atmosphere and he crashed. Not knowing that Bardock was actually, like, injured, but he was okay. So Bardock had just gotten off planet. Whew. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. Damn, I've been recording for an hour. So yes, Bardock is a Super Saiyan, and he did unlock Legendary Super Saiyan in that moment. But since the two powers are literally contradictory, the calming, focusing tranquility of a god, but the angered, full-powered wrath form of the legendary Super Saiyan, it canceled each other out. So Bardock just went right back to his base form. So he didn't use any powers now. But while Bardock is in space flying across going to planet Earth, he was wondering what that power exactly was. But no doubt he vowed revenge for what Frieza had done. So Bardock was already a few miles away because some of the Saiyans, like, you know, that weren't trying to fight off the death ball, went around to try to destroy Frieza, Zarbon, and the other soldiers. And because they were busy fighting, they didn't see Bardock go anywhere. So no one actually knew Bardock was had left. But Bardock did see the Saiyans die and Planet Vegeta get destroyed. That still happened like canon. But Bardock's whole family had actually escaped. So, woo! That happened. So now we're going to continue, into the story of Dragon Ball. But not right now, because this was just a return video, and I hope you guys did enjoy. This was part 1 to Dragon Ball Prime version 2. I hope you guys did enjoy, because like I said, I'm going to flesh out this story more to make it more appealing, to make this more cool and whatnot. So I hope you guys enjoyed my first time back in a month for what's happened. So guys, comment down below about the story. What'd you think about it? Is the story better than the old version? Like, because I'm going to turn this into a series. Comment down below what I can do to improve upon this. And also comment down below if my storytelling of the backstory was a lot more fleshed out than usual. Because I really tried to get you guys to understand why Bardock is a Super Saiyan God, why the Universe 7 Saiyans are different from the Universe 6 Saiyans, and what's so different about what and all that crap. How Bardock's Legendary Super Saiyan is different from Broly's full-powered Super Saiyan form. Hopefully you get it, because I try to explain as best I can. But if you guys did enjoy, y'all know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Peace, guys!